Kinda.
We'll call the order of the Stephenville Town Council meeting agenda for Thursday, October 24th, 2024. Janelle, would you please take the roll call?
Councilmember Barker? Here. Councilmember Nelson?
Here.
Councilmember Smith?
Here.
Mayor Michelson?
Here.
And Councilmember Brown has an excused absence tonight.
Thank you. Would you please all rise for the pledge of allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you all. Moving on to item number 3, public comments. Public comments is anything not on the agenda tonight. Please come up and state your name and your address, please.
My name is Sarah Burford, and I'm the owner of Burgess Farm. The address is 523 East 3rd Street here in Stevensville. I found the pre-meeting conversation about Burgess Farm interesting. I would like to ask this council, you, Mayor Mickelson, why the town has decided to spend thousands of dollars of taxpayer money on legal fees in order to assist a set of private citizens in what for me has been a lifelong harassment campaign by our neighbors against my family, particularly when I have offered repeatedly and in writing to work with the town to address any legitimate issues the town has identified at absolutely no cost to the town. Meanwhile, the town has major issues, such as the ongoing water and sewer issues, that need the town's attention and resources and affect every citizen in the town. I have, for anybody listening or here, supporting documentation for the things that I'll be talking about, which I'm happy to provide if anybody would like it. I attempted to meet with our neighbors, Pat Groninger, Mel, Susie, and Louie, at Mel's house the first week of April of this year, to try to understand exactly what it was that they wanted, since this has been going on longer than I have been alive. In that conversation, I was informed by Pat Groninger that this was our punishment from God for the way that we had lived our lives. And after that, Louie suggested that we sell the property and she would like the opportunity to buy it. At that point, I concluded that there was not a lot else I could have come out of this conversation, and I left in tears. It now appears that the tool that our neighbors want to use to administer this alleged punishment from God is the town and its resources. Since then, Mel and Pat have done their best, along with Louie, to convince the town to come after us, and it is disturbing to me that the town has, without question, bought into their story and then adamantly refused to engage in any type of discussion with me or my council. For example, during the 8/22 council meeting, there was alleged increased activity in the basement of the old house on the property, as if this was somehow nefarious. Why the town council cares how much we go in and out of the storage space, I do not understand. However, I would like to point out that the reason that we go in and out of this storage space is because there's a natural spring that comes up on our property, and we have sump pumps to drain it so that we do not have issues with water buildup. At the time the house was built, it was used to cool milk jugs, and now has to be drained. I requested an opportunity to provide perspective to this council, along with additional facts to the council, by requesting an agenda item be added. I was denied that request, being told that this is an issue for the courts. However, that limitation has never been placed on Pat, on Mel, or Louie. Excuse me. This is not the first time that this town council has specifically singled us out. As an example, in 2010, Pat Groninger stated in a town council meeting that a specific ordinance was intended to get Frank, who is my father, who lives on the property. This was in 2010. Those council recordings have been provided to the town clerk as supporting evidence. The town has previously denied our request for inspections needed in order to complete the construction of the building on our property, and now the town says that they have no records of this permit, or for the add-on of the existing, to the add-on of the existing building. However, we actually have the original permit and all of the sign-offs. At the request of the town, we allowed the town building inspectors to come and look at the building and the permit. Despite multiple requests to you, Mayor Nicholson, we were never provided with a copy of that report from the town inspectors. And eventually, I was forced to contact them directly to get a copy. And it was not actually a report, it was just an email. Since then, I have again talked to those inspectors and have confirmed the steps needed to renew the expired permit, which I'm currently working on. I have never come to a town council meeting demanding that the town cite one of our neighbors who has a garage that's under ongoing construction and appears to have somebody living in it. I've never asked the town to cite our neighbor who has an inoperable truck in their field and outdoor storage that's not shielded from public view. Yet, at the demand of citizens to do something, we were cited, at your request, Mayor Nicholson, for 3 different alleged ordinance violations, and every single one of them was dropped by the town attorney. Historically, the town has lost 6 prior cases that they have brought against us as well. Berta's Farm property has been a farm since the early 1900s. The land is our livelihood and our home. We live in constant fear of having our home invaded, our property destroyed, our crops mowed down, our animals displaced or possibly killed by massive mowers, and our way of life and survival destroyed. We live in constant fear of who is watching us after in 2017, our neighbors hired drone operators to film our property while my 7-year-old sister was playing on the land. This year, a trespasser who was unfortunately never found came onto the property filming and filmed my minor sister. We had to call the cops, and the chief of police is a wonderful man, and he had somebody there in less than 3 minutes. Unfortunately, we were not able to find the trespasser. Through all of this, my father has been fighting for his life. This has included 5 long hospitalizations for sepsis in the last 2 years. 2 major surgeries, both of which he had to be flown to Colorado to have. 4 minor surgeries and ongoing treatment. His wife battles an autoimmune disease, and my little sister, who is a minor, lives in constant fear of when her home will be invaded again. It's hard to understate how horrifying it is for us to feel unsafe in our own home due to the actions of the town and our neighbors, and how that lack of security impacts our ability to heal and have a happy home. Since every attempt to have a discussion with the mayor about this issue has been shut down since April, I'm here to attempt to get answers. Why us? Why this way? When there are other options. That's all.
Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you. Do I need to fill this out?
Yes, please.
That's okay. Thank you for your time.
Yep, thank you. Any other public comments on anything not on the agenda? Yes, sir.
Go ahead. My name is Jim Dietz. I live at 215 Park.
What's your last name?
Dietz, D-I-E-T-Z. I've watched what goes on over at Frank's since in the 70s. It's bullshit. The best part of growing up in the Bitterroot Valley was you never knew you had a neighbor till something went wrong, and they were the first ones to come. That's not that way right now. Just bunch of clowns up on the corner. Frank and Dawn and their daughter, they don't deserve this. They're just trying to live their life. I don't know where this is driven or how it's driven. It makes no sense to me. Nobody's put on this earth to measure up to anybody else. You live your own standards. You live your life, and we're all gone and put. So I just can't understand why the city would get involved. If you're gonna spend money on something, you need to spend some money on those cottonwood trees going up third. They're you guys' responsibility. You've probably got $120,000 worth of tree bill there. You know, don't be throwing bad money into the pond. This guy does not need to be crucified. He's a good guy. They come over, we have fun. Easiest going neighbor in the world. I don't know where the problem was. When it started, it was first about 2 or 3 Great Pyrenees dogs that Frank had that were like his family. He was living there single, and you guys have got him turned into a nocturnal person. You'll see him out there working all through the night with a headlight on because he's so worried about who's coming by and taking pictures of his interactions, and it just makes no sense to me. So, you know, out of the goodness of your hearts, I'd say probably just try leaving him alone. Enough of the trespassing and the bullshit that goes on over there. Nobody in town needs it. And as far as Mel, he's easily discredited. Loie, I don't know anything about her. Pat, I don't know what he's got the itch with Frank about. And if it's God's will, maybe something will happen at Pat first. So, that's about all I got to say. It's unjust. Thanks.
Thank you. Any other public comments on anything not on the agenda? Okay, seeing none, we'll move to the next item, the approval of the minutes. I need a motion to approve the town council meeting minutes of 10/10/2024. Councilmember Nielsen.
I make a motion to approve the town council meeting minutes 10/10/2024.
We have a motion by Councilmember Nielsen. Do we have a second? Second. We have a motion, we have a second by Councilmember Smith. Do we have any comments from the council on the minutes? 10/10/24. Councilmember Barker.
On the approval of biweekly claims, down a couple,
Minutes.
minutes.
We're on the
This
minutes.
is on the minutes.
Oh, okay.
Underneath where it says approval of biweekly claims, there's a misspelling of Mr. Smith's name.
On page
It's page 4,
4.
Yep.
Okay.
as council member, just the letters are transposed.
Any other comments on the council on the minutes?
And I know, sorry. Page number 5, Cody Anderson is misspelled, unless it's spelled Coday. Well, that's how this is spelled on here, so. all I have.
Okay, any other comments from the council on the minutes? Seeing none from the council, any comments from the public on the minutes of 10/10/24? Seeing none, Janelle, would you please take the vote?
Councilmember Barker? Aye. Councilmember Nelson?
Aye.
And Councilmember Smith?
Aye. Motion passes 3-0. Thank you. Item number 5, approval of the bi-weekly claims. Can I entertain a motion, please? Councilmember Barker.
I make a motion for approval of biweekly claims, claims number 19290 through 19313.
We have a motion by Councilmember Barker. Do we have a second? Councilmember.
I second.
Yes. We have a motion. We have a second. No wonder. Do we have a discussion from the council on the bi-weekly claims? Councilmember Barker.
Is everything in on the claims for Mr. Asphalt now, on Railroad Street, repair, replacement? Because I do see also Department of Revenue on that for Mr. Asphalt. Is that part of that
Yes.
Barca that we were
Yes.
going to be getting for that?
Yeah, we should be, I think I've been talking to Gina, I think we're finished with that. And I'm looking at our cash report for today, I think we're, yeah,
Okay.
pretty
Because
much.
I saw three different, I think there's like 3 different claims on that, so I just want to make sure that where we're at.
Yeah, and kind of like the airport, you know, how they bill us as they go, so I'm like, and she's got a sheet, she's
Trying
trying
to
to.
do one for railroad and one for spring.
Yeah, I saw
And they
that
were broken out.
And I think our cash report is pretty good.
And on the one for spring, there is, right there at Peterson Place and Van Tassel's, there's a little spot there. We had some cost savings at up to half a block up. There's another little spot there. So we had Marty, Caleb of HDR and Van Tassel were all there. And I approved a $9,000 because the road now is higher. Of course, it's got a curve, so it'll all drain. It goes to the low spot. Well, it's going to that low spot there in front of Van Tassel's and we need to raise that up. So we don't know any of that until after it's done. But now that we know it, and so when they get that done, we'll probably do one last bill, about $9,100 to come before the council.
Okay.
And that should be it for the Spring Street.
Okay.
Councilmember Porter.
Claim number 19303, Missoula Fire Equipment. Is this for like fire extinguishers for $504.95?
I believe it was the checking and refill, or
Which one was it again?
19303.
Yes, that's the annual, when they come in and inspect it, do all the fire extinguishers every year.
Okay.
yes.
It has to be done by law. Councilmember Nelson.
Claim number 19309. Pretty much all of the above. Are these tools and whatnot for public works or something?
Yes. Yes.
Like the 99-cent deal?
Yeah, there's a 3427, 99 cents, 765,
Yeah,
1979.
Yeah, that's, they all get their supplies and they just, they bill us with some,
All for public works.
All right, thank you.
public works and water for that.
Councilmember Barker.
19311, the portable generator for water pump for
Yes,
$645.05.
yes, we had to buy a generator because when we had a leak on Spring Street, we leaked there early this summer. Of course, I was there. We didn't have a generator. We haven't had one forever, and the generator we're using was Steve Cruz. He had lent it to the town. Well, he told Public Works Director Lassiter that he basically wanted his back. So after that leak, I told Steve, we'll get it back and go get it. The town has to have a generator and stuff like that. So that's what that's about.
Okay.
The one we had was on, Any other comments from the council on the claims? Any comments from the public on the claims? Seeing none, Janelle, would you please take the vote?
Councilor Barker,
Aye.
Councilor Smith,
Aye.
and Councilor Nelson.
All right.
Motion passes 3-0. Thank you. Moving on to item number 6, public hearings, budget amendments for fiscal year 23-24. So as you know, when we passed the budget, Robert told us that we would be coming back in October to do the budget amendments. So they are before you tonight, and I'll turn it over to Robert to explain one by one what they are.
This is just public hearing. This is just public hearing part.
Oh, public hearing, okay.
You don't have to
Got
take
ahead
it
of
unless
myself.
somebody comes up from the public.
Oh,
Any comments from the public on the public hearing on the amended budget items? Seeing none, then we'll move on to the unfinished business. Item number 8, discussion decision, resolution number 557, a resolution of the town of Stephenville, Montana to establish irrigation and sprinkling day and times. This was up at the last meeting. The council asked the administration to change the time to give a little more time for watering. So we have done that, and that is before you tonight. A little more watering time, instead of 7 and 6 p.m., the highlighted area. That's what the council wanted, so. Councilman Parker.
I'd like to make a motion for resolution number 557, a resolution of the town of Stevensville, Montana to establish irrigation and sprinkling days and times.
We have a motion by Councilmember Barker, do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second by Councilmember Smith. We have a discussion from the council on the unfinished business. Councilmember Barker.
Under the watering hours that we have for hose watering, we did change that to the 6 p.m. Down where it says no watering on Sundays, do not water between noon and 7 p.m. Shouldn't that be, well, there's no watering at all on Sunday. So if you're going to put those, why do we have those times on there? And I did not catch
Right,
it
because there's no watering
on Sundays.
any day between noon
And
and 7.
Okay.
So that's how it comes off of the, watering schedule. Sorry, I was looking for the right word. So yeah, no watering on Sundays and also no watering between
From noon
noon
to 7.
to 7. But I see what you're saying, which is, and nobody suggested this, so now you can make an amendment to now read noon. Wait,
Well, to me, it's just no watering
6
at all
PM
on
though is
Sunday.
only for hose watering, correct, you guys?
Correct.
Okay, just remember.
Hose watering is 7 a.m. to noon, and we change it from 7 to 6 p.m. to 10. Okay? So we should change that down below to probably say do not water between noon and 6 p.m.
Well, Sundays to me is, there's no watering at all on Sundays, so
Right.
why do we have that hour?
Because there's two other things, so so not only do we have your even address and odd address, hose watering automatic, you also have 2 more things, which is no watering on Sundays and no watering on any day between noon and 7 p.m.
Okay,
And that was in there before.
And that was, yeah,
but we do need to change that to 6 on the watering between.
Yes.
I can do that, super easy.
Okay. I think it was just
Yeah, we're
it was
fine.
just
No, that's okay.
overlooked on that
That is super
particular,
Good.
Yeah.
so.
Any other comments from the council on the water? Any comments from the public on the watering schedule? Seeing none, Janelle, would you please take the vote?
And this is for resolution number 557 with an additional correction to no watering between 12 p.m. and 6 p.m.
Correct.
Councilor Barker?
Aye.
Councilor Smith?
Aye.
Councilor Nelson?
Aye.
Motion passes 3-0. Thank you. Moving on to item number 8 under new business. A, discussion decision, resolution number 558, a resolution of the town council of Stephenville, Montana, providing amendments to the budget for the fiscal year 23-24. Now, Robert, you can get up and.
Okay, so we have a couple amendments to the budget, last year's budget. One is for the building code enforcement department. We pay a contract there, so the more he does, the more he gets, and so it's kind of a guesstimation of how much he's gonna do, so he actually did more inspections, we collected more money, we just have, and so we have to pay him out more money. And so that's the building code, how kind of that one works. The 5 lighting districts all went over, as you can see by the numbers, 135, 98, 358, and 93, 500, and that's just the cost of the electricity. And so whatever's that lighting district and what they charge us is what we pay, and that's what we make, that's what the homeowners in that district pay.
So Robert?
Yeah.
So when we put those, when we approved the lighting districts earlier, we didn't put enough in? Is that what it is?
Our bill will have more than the 30% we have
Okay.
for those lights, yeah.
This is also 23, 24.
Yeah, and this is, remember, this was last year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this is last year. We're fixing last year's budget.
All right,
But everything went over, so we can do our AFR and then turn it in and get it fixed up.
gotcha.
And so these are kind of like the final figures.
So we amended it to bring it up to speed to this year.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
because, and we, you don't know about that till August, when you get your final bill from, especially for the ones for the lighting districts, that's when the bill comes in for the month before.
Okay.
And the last one is a simple one. You have no idea how much the fireman disability is gonna be. And so they give us the check and we give back to the fireman retirement fund. And so their check was normally about $5,000 and they got a check for $7,850. So, yeah, and that's a good thing for both the police department and for the fire.
You want to state for the record?
Oh, yeah.
The fat finger
There was a fat figure on the one that was sent out, with an extra 3 in it, with John, and that was for fire and disability.
And that's what I gave you guys at the table.
Correct.
According to the auditors, we really don't have to do that because it's a pass-through fund, but if we don't do that, all our fund, you say, why didn't you do that one? So just put it in there, and stay with the flow, and it looks good.
Before I ask for a council for the discussion, could I get a motion and a second to start the discussion? Council members?
Move that we adopt resolution 558, resolution of the town of Stevensville, Montana, providing for the amendments for the budget of fiscal year 2023-24.
We have a motion by Councilmember Smith. Do we have a second? Councilmember Nelson.
I second that.
We have a motion. We have a second by Councilmember Nelson. Do we have a discussion from the council on the budget amendments? We have a discussion from the public on the budget amendments. Seeing none, Janelle, would you take the vote?
Councilmember Nelson,
Aye.
Councilmember Smith,
Aye.
and Councilmember Barker.
Aye.
Motion passes 3-0. Moving on to item number B. B, informational, cash report and budget versus actual report. I know we just approved the budget not too long ago, but to keeping with our 3-month stipulation, I have Robert do a budget and actual so everybody can see where we're actually at. So Robert, take it away.
Okay, we'll go with the cash report. So you'll see, and that was dated on the 18th of October. And this is the amount of cash in our funds, and the funds off to the right, left there, and the cash balance is off to the right. You'll see that the very thing that comes out is that the 5 lighting district funds are in negative. And that's because they'll be negative all the way up to November, because that's when they get their tax bill, and that's when most people pay their tax bill for this part of the year. And then we get another one in May, and that pays it, and that balances it out. So that's very normal for that. If you keep, like, one good positive, the police training fund has gone up. We've got a lot of money there, and that's good. One thing you'll notice when you go down to the water fund, this, 5 to 10, right? About 783,000 of that. We talked about this, you're gonna be, getting a resolution here to move some money around so we can put some of that money into the capital fund for water and move the water bond fund, which is 5250, that money into the capital fund. And once again, we do that so we can save that money for the next project. And once again, we did not budget anything to come out of that fund, so when we spend any of that money, it has to come to you first. Even with that money moving, we're still about 2 to 3 years out before we can even do a project like we did this year. And then we're back from around zero again, and build it back up. And that's the same thing for the sewer. Questions?
Councilmember Barker.
The 5230 ARPA project, obviously that's, you see that big
Yeah, yes.
negative.
So
But
what-
a lot of people don't understand what that ARPA project went towards.
Okay, that ARPA project is what we did the big project last year, or this year, sorry, last year, this summer. And so that's a reimbursement program, so we have to spend the money, and then now we're gonna get reimbursed at 90% back. And so we're waiting on our check to make that whole again. And then in the end, that whole account should be zero after all the projects are done. Because we already put in our 10% share from the American Rescue Plan Fund, and we put 407,000 out of the water bond fund to make that project happen. So we're just waiting on our check to get reimbursed for that 150,000.
And I just signed off on the last payment to Ameren for that today. So, 5620, Robert, the airport project, 75216.
Yes, okay, they're in the process of doing their 5-year plan, their airport plan. And so we, in the budget you saw, we still had quite a bit of money left to still pay that. And the thing was the $360,000, and over the course of 2 fiscal years, did it come in? Okay, so they're basically done with it, so we'll have a bill paying them off. That's kind of the same thing, we had to come up with 10%, and then FAA will come up with the other 90%. So that will get us, in the end, the project should be about, that project fund should be zero in the end.
Yeah, we got some good news from Brian Jermaine. He was in Robert's office, was that Monday, Robert, with Craig?
Yeah.
You guys are talking about that, where we're gonna do a master plan, and the FAA is basically, we're gonna get a really nice fuel station up there, which is sorely needed.
Is this the fuel station that they've been working on?
No,
To
it's
get,
completely different. That was coffee.
Get rid of that old tank, right?
The old tank is going. Yeah. Under the new grant and that, we're gonna get a pretty Rolls Royce outfit. It's middle or no man, so it's.
Yeah, so they have to do, unfortunately, the way the airport works, they have to do all of the maintenance of the pavement first before we can get a revenue creating entity if they're like fuel. With Brian's plan, it looks like we're gonna have enough money, or we're gonna get enough money from the FAA and then go to Montana Aeronautics and ask for some more money like we did on the other projects. So we may have to only have to come up with a 5% grant. The 5% grant, it's gonna cost us some money, but the revenue from the fuel station itself is gonna be like $1,000 a month. Before we're only getting $1,000 a year. So that's gonna help them maintain the airport and start building back up their funds. So they should pay for that off pretty quickly. I think even within a year, it should be really nice if it works, but it will. Okay, so no questions with the cash report. The next one in this area is budget versus actual. Okay, this is where we're at within the funds. Same funds. You'll see that right at the end of October, we should normally be about 33%. Okay, we only got 7 days left with these claims. We're right about there within the general fund. You you see most everything else is a little bit less. You'll see that, the lighting funds are less than the 33%, but they work on it. They actually don't bill us based on the electricity, they bill us based on the lighting code, how the light goes. And so it goes up in the winter, it goes down in the summer, based on sort of what rhythm they use, not based on how much electricity they use. It's kind of crazy. But that will go up and to meet that. You can see as of that date, the Garson funds were at 76% spent. I think with this one we just had you guys just passed, I think that's gonna put us right up close to being right at the 100% mark, minus what the mayor talked about. The ARPA project, same thing with our ARPA project. We just got a lot of those bills just came in, so we're be up there. I can't think of everything else. It looks pretty good right now. I looked at the general fund money because that's our biggest one, and they're all at about 28, maybe, public safety 34 for their accounts. And so we're right on track. So it's not, minus anything happening, we're doing pretty good on all the funds. Questions with where we're at with the budget this year? I would give one note. When we passed the budget amendment last year, we looked at the general fund, we actually only spent 52% of the general fund last year, which was good, about $500,000 basically budgeted for this year.
And how much off our interest from January now? 90 something?
Yeah, so yeah, I didn't give that number, but we had the biggest check last month for interest on our money in the bank. It was low of $1,000. Unfortunately, that's going to drop because we paid some big bills for all the projects this last month, and we're going to dip down a little bit for a while. But that's kind of the plan to pay off the project.
I think the total interest, I thought you said was over 90 or something.
Yeah, when we were looking at the other day, it's
Such a lifesaver for us.
yeah, it's.
So is that because we moved where the money was moved at the time?
We were making literally we were making about $400, $500 a month when the price of money was cheap over at Rocky Mountain, and we're getting 3 and 4% on our money right now, and that's that's like I said, over 90,000 just from January. So we're going to be over 100,000 easy by making that move.
So we had it in 3 different banks here in Stevensville, is that correct?
Yeah, but nobody else will give us money like that. And it's not in a CD, so we can access it anytime. And so you can't give, that's a pretty good deal for us now.
It's a great deal for us.
Yeah.
And it's not concerning if something was to happen and crash-wise or?
No, because they have to give us, it's called pledge securities. So they have to go out and basically buy us another type of insurance policy. And auditors check that to make sure all the money in the municipal towns and the government have a pledge security with them. So we won't lose our money at all. And that's good.
Yeah, because I'd hate to have that happen if we moved it from,
Yeah.
obviously from several different banks that we had here, now to just one, if something does happen.
And they send us pledge securities every month. The little thing says where we're going to get our money if they go up. And we have to do that to the auditor every audit. We have to give all our pledge securities. So they've audited this program last year when audit we just went through. It was right on where it needed to be. So we're good. Thank goodness. Yeah, you can't have it. That would be a big amount of funding if we didn't have our pledge securities.
Any other questions from the council on the budget? Cash report? Any comments from the public on the cash report?
Yeah, Larry Schaff, what bank did you move it to?
First Interstate Bank. First, yeah.
For security.
For security.
For security.
For security, yeah.
The one in the Stockholm here?
One downtown.
The one that just took over Rocky Mountain.
Rocky Mountain Bank, yeah, I want to go from them. Right. It's actually Clearwater.
Hmm?
Well, it's their main bank's Clearwater. So it's the one above them. No, I have nothing strong. Clearwater's the bigger bank, while a little, they have a couple banks on it, it's first series when we looked at them locally, but they're bigger, higher up, it's called Clearwater.
We have Clearwater right here, that's a credit union.
Yeah, different, but if you look on a bank statement, it says Clearwater on it. I just had this discussion the other day, it's, figured it out. It's
One's
like,
a bank and one's a credit union.
yeah, but one's a bigger
One's
bank,
huge.
yeah.
Big thing. Okay.
I know.
It's okay with the council, we'll move on to item number C, discussion decision, McNeil's tree service agreement. And you well know, we declared a disaster, and when we went to the disaster meeting in Hamilton, they told us we had to have an arborist, that had to come and look at every tree, see what the damage was, to make an observation, to document it, that way we could send it to the state, and then the state would look it over, and they would reimburse us for whether we had to prune them, take them down, whatever, but anyway, the state would pay for that, but this is a step we had to do, so. Hamilton hired McNeil Tree Services, and I got a hold of them last week, and they said they would gladly do ours too, so. This is the contract that they brought up, it's basically the same as Hamilton's, only town of Stephenville is the only thing that's the difference. So with that, could I entertain a motion? Council members,
I move to adopt McNeil's tree service agreement.
we have a motion by Councilmember Smith, do we have a second? Councilmember Nelson.
I second that.
We have a motion, we have a second, do we have a discussion from council on McNeil's tree service? Mr. Smith.
I notice it's $125 an hour, our minimum. How many trees do you think they're going to be looking at?
Go get my phone, there's a lot.
Because you've taken pictures of.
Yeah, I took a picture of all the trees, documented. Geez. Well over 100,
100, okay.
well over, including our cemetery and our parks. So,
I know where 6 of them are.
Councilmember Nelson.
If I was reading correctly, this question, is this just visual inspection that they're charging us for, or will they actually do work on the trees?
Just the visual. That's all they do. So visual, and then she'll write a report, written report, and she'll put the findings, and then she'll give them to us, and then we'll give them off to the state. The state will give us an okay to start pruning them, taking them down. And then we'll have to put RFPs out to get a tree company to do whatever, either the pruning or the
That was
taking
my
down. Yeah, no, all she does is an arborist, all she does is look at the tree, look at the damage.
Okay, thank you.
Would you have a guesstimate about what the bill would be?
Not a clue. I know that Missoula, they had her too, and they were over $1.5 million.
But will be reimbursed for this because that's part of that windstorm that they had
Yes,
to.
this is the last 2 windstorms, the damage of all the trees. Every penny will be reimbursed through the state disaster when we declare the state.
There we go, okay, thank you.
And when we pass the mill every last council meeting with the $7,100, we exhaust that. We've already sent that off to the disaster. They said that's good to go. Start doing this, we're doing this, and we're just following along. Basically following along what Hamilton did.
Good.
Been in contact with them, and now we're kind of on the same page. They're a bit ahead of us, so it's good.
I don't want.
Yeah, really.
For $125 an hour, yeah, I'm in the wrong business.
Any other comments from the council on the arborist McNeil Tree Service Agreement?
This is not something that we had to put out for bid or anything, correct?
No,
Okay,
no.
because she's just she's just, okay, I'm just making sure we're.
Yeah, because there's
following the
nobody else.
lines of-
Yeah, there's no other arborist around, and that's why Missoula's hired her. Hamilton just brought it on the agenda, or put it on the agenda,
Okay.
because she's the only came to town here in the valley.
It's personal.
Any other comments from the council on McNeil's tree service? Any comments from the public on McNeil's tree service? Seeing none, Janelle, would you please take the vote?
Councilor Barker,
Aye.
Councilor Nelson,
Aye.
and Councilor Smith.
Aye.
Motion passes 3-0. Thank you. Moving on to item number D, informational special event permit for country Christmas and parade. Mr. Shaw.
So we've got Country Christmas expected to be on December 6th. We're gonna do it in the modified parade route like we did last year. Everybody will stay over in Lewis and Clark Park, come down Second Street and down Main. We can't do the Living Center anymore because I'm under for a personal fine for that one if we do it again, not just the club. We're wanting to do the 2 fire pits, which I know Chief Motley still needs to look at those. The north one will be in the same location at the corner of Second and Main at the Cenex gas station. The south one is going to move that little odd corner block to the north over by Storybook Medicine versus being at Discovery Fitness as it was the last couple of years. Carriages, music, Christmas story, all the same stuff that we've all come to know and love. I'll be requesting approval for the permit at the next county council meeting because there's still a couple pieces that we're waiting on. So I figured I'd come to answer any questions or address any concerns that may be. Still waiting for the MDT permit. This is the longest one it's ever taken me to get. It's been over 3 weeks. Usually I get them in 2. So I've been trying to call Kurt, figure out what's going on, but I'm not hearing anything. So you haven't had any friends with MDT?
It's all those projects they.
Yeah, oh, I'm sure they're slammed, but considering it's pretty much a photocopy of the one that I sent them last year, same traffic control plan, the whole bit, I was hoping it's just gonna be a quick. Yeah. Just what I did.
We need to put a roundabout in.
So I just want to see if there are any questions or concerns or issues from last year that I may not have been aware of or continue to try to push forward.
Are you gonna do the coloring contest again this year?
Yeah, that's town thing, that's not club thing.
Town does that.
Alan does that.
We didn't do it last year because with the transition and all that kind of stuff, and again, on rather short notice, so Mayor Michelson was the one who flipped on the lights, which I don't know, maybe we gotta have him do it again because he flipped them on last year, it started snowing. It was gorgeous. The timing couldn't have been better.
We'll have him there with the winner.
Cool.
Maybe it'll be, yeah.
That'll work.
That was my first act as a mayor.
Worked out really well.
It was great.
Cool. Okay, thank you.
Sean.
Thanks.
Okay. Board reports. Town council comments. None. All right. Executive comments, I don't have much tonight. The cleanup of debris and leaves is winding down. I want to thank Public Works for their efforts. They've worked a lot here, as you all know, all summer long. And there's still leaves falling down now. And we talked to Steve today and they won't stop. You know, if we see, they drive by, Jeff and Matt or Steve or even I walk by and we see leaves are on the side of the street or whatever, we'll pick them up and we'll take them down there. So, but we're not, it's not designated, but we won't leave anybody. If people call, we'll take care of it. On 10/10, I had a meeting with Janelle, Ross Miller, Steve Lassiter, and Cindy Brown regarding water rights. And it looks like another 18 months possibly to get our rights resolved. We've got some other things in the works, but that should help us hopefully get that resolved sooner. And I got some good news. I was talking to Andrina with all the meters that we're changing and everything. I know the magic number of 50 million gallons leaking every month. We're down to 11 million gallons. All the meters changing. Stacy knows as well as I know, even before we were on council, it was 15 million, remember? So hopefully we'll even get that down even more. So that's good news. I had a meeting today with Jennifer Baldwin of DNRC. She took a tour with Cody Anderson down at the plant. She looked over everything. That's part of her job. And she asked me to have a meeting with her and Gina when Gina gets back. And by the way, Gina's out. She's had to leave for a medical emergency in her family. When she gets back, we're gonna go meet in her office and look at the next steps as far as grants and moving forward and everything, so. It's all good news, people are starting to notice us and they want to reach out to help us. Comes to increasing our revenue and water and sewer, we're all for it, of course. That's all I have for my executive report. So with that, could I entertain a motion to adjourn? Councilmember Nuss,
I'll make a motion that we adjourn.
can I get a second? I have a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Until 8 in the morning, that's what I get to the hospital.
That's where Cindy is.